4. And now let's get into the discourse for this morning. But just before we do so, let me introduce me. My name is Uduaka Daniel. I'm going to be anchoring from now up until the 9:50 mark, right? So it's going to be a very smart conversation this morning. And we'll be looking at, just a few days ago, 2 days ago, if precisely, where we saw contractors disappeared with 167 billion naira meant for 31 MDAs. Contractors disappeared with 167 billion naira meant for 31 MDAs. And this alarm, if you like, this whistle blowing was brought to the fore by SERAP, right? The socioeconomic accountability project right there. And they had called out onto the president, called out onto the respective agencies and say, hey, how can these monies disappear, right? I mean, every time that we talk about certain monies that have been allocated for certain, infrastructural development, capital projects, and how they disappear, it really amazes me. I mean, it leaves my jaws dropping. I don't know about yours, but the issue of contractors disappearing with funds meant for projects in Nigeria is not new anymore. I mean, over the years, there has been, several cases of contractors abandoning projects or failing to deliver on their promises. If you recall, the case with the Julius Berger, in Nigeria, where there has been a revocation of some of the highways that they were supposed to build. If I'm not mistaken now, is it the Abuja-Kaduna, Abuja-Kaduna-Kano, I think, roadways and all of that. I think it was to the tune of 700 or 74 billion naira now, or 770 something billion naira. But I mean, that is just a case in point. But now we are seeing a total disappearance, of contractors. They are abandoning projects or failing to deliver on their promises, even after monies have been disbursed. Now, the recent revelation that contractors disappeared with 167 billion naira meant for 31 MDAs is, a stark reminder of the need for greater transparency and accountability in the management of public funds. Now, need I also put it out there, the fact that the Nigerian government has been criticized for its handling of public funds, with many cases of corruption, mismanagement, and all. Now, the country's Auditor General has consistently reported cases of financial mismanagement and corruption in various government agencies. And I also recall that day when this headline was brought forth on, the Nigerian newspaper tabloids. Some of us, family members, we'd come out to say, enough is enough. Auditor General, enough of the mentioning, you're bringing the case up and all of that. Where does it lead to? Where does it end? Where is the accountability? Who has been brought to justice? Which of the defaulters have been named and shamed? Which of them have gone behind bars where necessary? How many of them have been, sued in court right there to make a defense for themselves? We have not really heard so much, in that respect. Now, the disappearance of contractors with funds meant for projects has serious implications for the Nigerian economy and even the well-being of its citizens. One of the things it does is that it undermines, the government's ability to deliver on its promises, and it also can lead to a loss of trust in the government. Remember, we've been talking about how we can rebuild the broken bridge of trust between the governed and the government. But if we continue to handle cases like this, or begin to see more of such cases come up in the surface, where can we indeed muster the courage to wanting to trust a government or a system, right? And that's one of the arguments that has, been prevalent, in recent times. Now, a recent audit report revealed that contractors had disappeared with 167 billion naira meant for 31. This is not like, it's not three, it's not one, it's 31 MDAs, right, in Nigeria. Now, the report did not disclose the names of the contractors of the specific projects they were working on. However, it highlighted the need for greater transparency and accountability in the management of public funds. It brought to the fore the lacuna, that exists within the system that is eating it rotten. Now, the Nigerian government has also promised to investigate in the matter and bring those responsible to justice. But quite a number of Nigerians, as well as family members and you, have said that this has only gone like a tales by moonlight. Is more like just words thrown in the wind. Is more like mere rhetorics that we already beginning to be used to, right? This is not also to undermine the government's effort in ensuring that there is riddance of corruption, and there is a place of accountability and a projection for transparency. But then quite a number of people, public affairs analysts, and even observers, government public affairs observers, have also said that, hey, it does not stop there. The government is not quite doing enough. So some would come from the place of strengthening the systems. Others will say that it is a case of looking into the Constitution. But be that as it may, the very bottom line would be the place of having a political will. Recall that just a few days ago, when we had mixed feelings about whether or not we should celebrate the Port Harcourt refinery, coming into full capacity and production, where we saw the president very excitedly saying to the NNPCL management and saying that, hey, now that the Port Harcourt refinery is working, has been brought to limelight, brought from the place of death into life, let's see how these other refineries, inclusive of the Kaduna refinery, coming into limelight. And if you also noticed, if you listened that day, one of the things that I said, I praised the president, number one citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and said that this is what we talk about when we say there is a political will. If the president does not show that political will, it might as well have a devastating impact on every other, sphere or aspect of the country. So if many believe that the president, if he gives a speech in this regard to talking about, hey, that we need to begin to fish out these people and shame them, or if you're not going to call them out, you're not going to shame them, at least allow for the provisions under the Constitution or in the Constitution to find bearing, right? To become the voice and the plea and the cries of the many Nigerians who have been deprived or who are depraved one way or the other, right, in this instant. But then that the promises is becoming one too many. However, quite a number of Nigerians are now being skeptical, right, and about the government's ability to, tackle corruption and ensure accountability. Some of the affected MDAs include the Nigeria Correctional Service National Pensions Commission, right there. And, of course, we will be looking at which other commission now? The Federal College, yes, of Land Resources Technology, Owerri. All of these, some of the affected MDAs. Now, if you also want to take a deep dive into this disappearance of contractors with funds meant for projects, you would discover that it has a direct impact on the lives of ordinary Nigerians. When I say ordinary Nigerians, I'm talking about you and I, right? Where many communities have been left without basic amenities such as roads, hospitals, schools, due to the failure of contractors to deliver on their promises, where they have indeed intentionally, in fact, they have made conscious efforts to intentionally abscond. And that is worrisome. A visit to many rural communities in Nigeria reveals the extent of the problem. Many roads are in despair, and hospitals lack basic equipment and personnel. I mean, the situation is often worse in communities that we're supposed to benefit from specific, projects. The lack of transparency and accountability in the management of public funds has also led to widespread disillusionment, especially among Nigerians, or if you like, the common Nigerians right there. The average Nigerians. I do not need to use the word common, because each and every one of us, through our votes as electorates, we are very powerful. So if you don't know that, you better know that now. So you're not common. You might be an average Nigerian, but I am an average Nigerian. That being said, there is a general belief that the government is not doing enough to address corruption, to ensure public funds are used for the benefit of all citizens. In fact, it will continue to beat our imagination if continuously we keep on looking out to, the international community for support, which quite a number of people have termed handouts in the names of borrowings. Well, kudos to the fact that there is a tax reform bill, about 4 of them, if I'm not, or 6 of them now, 4 of them, to the last count, right, before the National Assembly right there. Probably this might be yet another way of getting things rightly, and ensuring that there is minimal borrowings. Let us establish the fact that this recent report has revealed a shocking case of corruption. It has revealed a shocking case of embezzlement in Nigeria, where contractors allegedly disappeared with a staggering 167 billion naira meant for ministries, departments, and agencies. It's quite disturbing. It's a trend now. It's becoming a trend now. And it highlights the need for an enormous campaign for transparency, accountability, and even oversight in management of public funds, right? And if you're looking at some of the concerns, there are some immediate concerns that we can look into. But just before we jump into these immediacy of concerns, let us introduce our guest and bring him, up to speed into the discourse this morning. I'm talking about none other person but the astute Mr. Benedict Olaliko Agunloye. Now, he's an information professional, he's a policy and public affairs analyst. Mr. Benedict, welcome aboard. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good morning to you and welcome aboard, Sir Benedict Olaliko Agunloye.
Good morning.
Yeah, it feels good to, have you join the discourse this morning. Yet again, we have found yet another troubling news of a whopping 167 billion naira meant for 31 ministries, departments, and agencies disappearing into thin air. It just disappeared, where contractors have abandoned projects that they had promised, to deliver to Nigerians. And it brings to mind the immediacy of concerns and questions which border around the lack of accountability, inadequate oversight, MDAs' role, and consequences for corruption, as well as impact on public services. What would be your thoughts as you wrap your mind around this continued situation that we find in the country today?
Well, I think here we are in 2024 talking about 2021 audit, which means that those projects were meant to have been executed more than 3 years ago and should have been delivering benefit to the people. So the first thing, therefore, would be that this is a sad tale. Very, very sad. The people have been shortchanged. The system has been assaulted and mismanaged. Now, but what should be my immediate response would be this. Where were the federal auditors posted to those MDAs by the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation when those funds were released? How come nobody raised any question? So I think that for me, rather than people dancing around the figure of 167 billion and the rest, I think that they should be telling us how many arrests have been made within the MDAs of people who raised the voucher, of people who ascertain that the projects, because if there is no job completion, there shouldn't have been final payments. So who are the people that ascertain that the job were completed? Definitely those were not contractors, they were civil servants. So I think that as we speak, the auditors, the legal person, the engineers or whoever in procurement was responsible for approving or for confirming that the jobs were done, all of them by now should be locked up somewhere and should be answering questions. But the reality is that that has not happened. And if there are no consequences for wrong action, I think that the wrong actions will continue. So for me, therefore, the starting point is to ensure that those who were responsible for internal monitoring that failed should be questioned and should be punished. Now, Serap is asking government for the list of contractors. Yes, list of contractors will be fine. But I think that when you arrest the people and you put them on trial for wrong actions, every name of the contractor will eventually be produced. Everything that concerns the contractors will eventually come to the fore. So rather than running after the head of the MDA and the contractors, I think we should go the whole hog of ensuring that everybody involved from start to finish is made to answer questions for their actions or inactions.
Well, okay, let me jump in there. Now, you've identified a certain gray area, right, in the discourse. But Sir Benedict, first of all, Nigerians would have certain concerns, right? One of such would be, how potent is the judiciary in itself? How viable is the judiciary in itself? That's one. Secondly, the other question will be about, considering the way and manner that these kinds of judgments or these kinds of investigations have been carried out, we see that it lingers for way too long a time, and we do not see judgments come as and when due. That's second. Third is, if we are going to go all the way in and begin to look into those who are the civil servants who were part of these very dastardly, senseless and baseless, travail, right? You might as well want to consider the fact that, do we even have, this will touch quite a number of people. Do we have the kind of law that will hold, will I even say law? Should I say prison, or should I say detention places that would hold this large number? Because if you look at it very keenly, you discover that, look, quite a number of interests and fat cows, which goes beyond just the politicians, which goes beyond just the heads of these contractors, which goes beyond, it will trickle down even deep into the civil service in itself. How do you handle that from your own thoughts?
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That number one, every civil servant has a schedule. They have their responsibilities. There are standard operating procedures. There are internal auditors. There are federal auditors. There are legal people who should set the law, or who should set the agreement for every contract. There are people who raise the vouchers. And they all are professionals, responsible to one body or the other. So if you have found the lawyers culpable, report them to MBA and NJC. If you have found the accountants culpable, report them to whichever body is responsible for regulating accounting. If you have found the auditors culpable, report them to who is responsible for audit, right? And I'm sure that any query in their file will count against them in the years to come. Now, based on that, the fact that you have questioned them at all puts some form of shivers down the spine of others, and everybody will tend to want to be careful what they do going forward. But if those number of people are not questioned at all, we are not saying send them to jail. We are not even saying keep them in prison permanently. But you know what? Get them out of their regular schedule. If need be, let them go on 1 or 2 month suspension. So that's proper investigation. So let them come and answer the question as private individuals, right? As against using official resources and wasting official time and effort to even defend their cases. But basically, until you question everybody involved in the process will continue to be faulty.
Now,
so we've seen it over the past.
Yeah.
You just push it on the contractor, you push it on the minister, you push it on the head. Now, to be more critical, about 100 billion out of this 167 is said to be in the Nigerian bulk electricity system. Now, electricity or energy is a major challenge for us. How can we invest 100 billion in 2021 and some people took it away? Definitely, there are people who want darkness to pervade the land. And so what it will then be is that the security forces will shed light into MDAs. If the need be, all directors involved should be cooling off. They should at least have this year's Christmas done, either in EFCC custody or whichever custody that is required. And when they wake up into the new year, even if eventually nothing serious happened to them, the fact that they have been shaping, I've seen people who spend Christmas in the FCC cell, right? When they come out, they think better on their new job and they act better because they know what it means to be in one room when the rest of the world is jumping around celebrating. So to me, let us not look at, yes, the justice system might not be perfect, but at least let there be investigation. Let's have the facts behind the matter. Let's know exactly what was done. At what point were these vouchers raised? What were the terms of the agreement? Who were the people who gave approvals? Who were the people who raised the documents? All of them, as far as I'm concerned, must be questioned. That way, we are looking at our process going into the future. So we are not just celebrating and shouting and talking about what is past. Yes, those things are past, but how did it happen? Let's question the system. Let's interrogate the process. What were the laxities? And of course, for me, even the Office of the Accountant General, Auditor General of the Federation, is not free from blame. There are federal auditors posted from that office into these ministries and agencies. What were they looking at when the fraud was going on? Did they raise any red flag? If they do, where are they? And those are the questioners. If they did not raise any, then they have failed in their responsibility at the issue and should be relieved of those appointments or should, of course, be met with appropriate sanction for negligence and dereliction of duties.
All right. Well, let me put a peg to your thoughts as I have another burning question, and I'm sure this question also burns in the heart of the listener. And open the phone line so that we can have the family members join in the discourse this morning. You also want to put your voice out there. You want to ask some very critical questions, and let's see how we can indeed make a way forward for our dear country, Nigeria. Because enough is enough. If you're not tired, I am tired, right? And the listener is tired right now, and everybody is seemingly tired of this continuous narrative. Now, the number would be 0907 353 0044. I'm giving you the number again, 0907 353 0044. You might as well want to stick to this number, 0907 353 0044, and get me a message via the WhatsApp portal number right there, and that will be 0909 705 4450. Please do not send a voice note. Just give us a WhatsApp typed message and we will herald it for you. Hello and good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you, Elder.
Elder Naga is my name.
Yes, Elder. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Cuba in Abuja here.
Thank you. Go ahead, Elder.
You say if you people are talking like this, I used to laugh. You don't know. You don't remember the information of government in Nigeria. You say they steal money from NDA or this and this. Mr. Aguloye, let me ask you one question today. You are a financial expert. I want you to investigate. Those money they are not missing. Those money is the share. The share to party members appointed as the chairman and the director of those agents. Now, Mr. Aguloye, I borrow 100 million naira from you, and then I invest it in party, and then our party wins. As our party wins, they give me chairman of a board. Where did you want me to get money to refund your money for you? The allocation to that place as a project allocation. I have to form the company, a fake company. Everything. I tender it in my office. And then I will allocate job to them. And transfer the account of that company. I withdraw that money to go and pay the debt. The debt where I borrow to enter the party. All those things where you say it means it not means. The government know about it. I bet about 100 million in the party, and then they give me minister in the ministry there. Where did you want me to return? Where did you want? How much salary you go pay me where I return that money to bank? The money come to my ministry. Is that money I'm going to divert to pay? That's the system of the government in Nigeria. And then party appoint member of party. I can't spend 100 million in the party, and then the party win. It did not give me any appointment. And then if you give me appointment, the money you are giving to me, I have to divert that money to go and pay to bank. That's the system of the government in Nigeria. Those money they don't miss in the government, they know about it.
Okay.
They know if the location where they send to that ministry is for the board chairman or director, where he contributes to party they give in that ministry rule. That's why they can't investigate it. They know. The government know those people. They know that most of the companies, they are fake companies formed by the chairman for to this into divert that money. That's the system of the government in Nigeria.
All right,
Thank
Elder.
you very much. God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Elder Onaja right there, and giving us 2 cents on the issue on ground. Mr. Agunloye, you heard him.
Yeah, I heard him very clearly.
Right.
But the reality is still that we have structures in place. We have people who have been employed. Companies are free to do business and make profits. But outrightly not doing any job and getting paid as a contractor is never justifiable under any guise. And of course, that's why I keep saying the process and the people involved in the process should be interrogated properly. Now, NFIU is possibly there to monitor transactions and money movement across our platform. Where were they also when those money moved? What authorization or what documents were the backups given by the banks to ensure that the transfers sailed through? You see, we are talking about building a system. There are people who have money who could invest, who could get into government on charity basis and do their job. You don't have to go take a loan because you want to be in the party. And if you took the loan, it's your personal needs. You shouldn't be going after stifling the nation development in the name of patronage. As far as I'm concerned, I've listened to him. But I think that line of thought is wrong. That line of thought is criminal. That line of thought is anti-development. That line of thought is anti-people, is anti-progress. And so people should begin to desist from doing it. The reality for me will always remain that clearly those who have been employed and engaged to do jobs should do their job within the standard operating procedures of whatever has been written for them. And we should be able to ensure that certain lapses are closed in the system. And that's why we're saying let there be investigation. If you are meant to be paid 3 installments on a job, inception, interim completion, and final completion, who were the people that are certified that you have met the condition for each of these payments before the payments were made? Now, if there is a civil servant who says the job has been done when the job is not done, I don't care about what forces were outside it. He lied and he failed in his duty, and he should be punished for failing in his duty. Yes, we know the minister, the board member, the politicians, the contractor are all in court, but you as the civil servant who raised the voucher, who wrote the job completion, who wrote the report that a job that is not done has been completed, you have committed a crime by reporting falsely. And that is what I'm saying, that all such middle people must be punished in this instance, so that going forward, others who take positions and desk officers like them will use their head and ensure that at least things are done the way it should be done. You cannot take money 100% and not deliver any job. Every job had a provision in procurement process for your profit and for taxes. So in all situations and for all intent and purpose, there is no rational basis to collect money for projects that were never executed.
Let me put a peg to your thoughts. Let's go pay some bills. When we come back, of course, the conversation will continue. I see you putting a call through, but hold that thought. We'll be right back in a short bit.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Please listen to this infomercial.
Hello, Nigeria. Hello, Africa. Do you want to work in the healthcare sector? Do you want to be a trained, certified nursing assistant, medical assistant, or caregiver? If yes, then register to enroll for Push Africa's 1-year diploma in certified nursing assistance training happening at the African University College of Science and Technology, Abuja. Targeted trainees are unemployed graduates, O-level or ordinary diploma graduates, or anyone interested in working as a support worker in the healthcare sector. For details, log on to www.pushafrica.org or WhatsApp 080-339-42015, 080-339-42015, 080-339-42015. For registration, pick up application form at our partner radio stations or visit the reception at the African University of Science and Technology, Abuja.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
ilimi babban abu ne gunmu shi zai kankan ya mutuncinmu.
A kowane karni a kowace irin al'umma da ilimi ake tinka. Yanzu fa tazarar tana kokarin ta kai tazara.
Musamman mu 'ya'ya mata da a wannan zamani ya kamata a cusa mu makaranta. Sai aka bar mu da yawon gararan ba da tallace-tallace.
Ashe kaga ya zama haƙƙi ga iyaye da kowa mai hanin jinka.
Mu tabbatar da ana cusa yara makaranta.
Su samu natijar ilimi su daidaita da zamanin su.
Kuma zamanin su ya tinkaho da su. Amma rashin sa yaran a makarantar ya jawo an mana tazara a kowace harka ta rayuwa.
A Najeriya kimanin yara sama da miliyan 20 ba sa makaranta.
Har ma masu ƙididdiga suka ce miliyan 8 a kudu, miliyan 12 a arewa. Shi yasa hukumar ilimin bai ɗaya ta ƙasa wato UBEC ta ce
mai kafaɗa da kafaɗar tunani wajen cusa yara makaranta.
Domin gadon ilimi ya fi gadon dukiya.
Wannan sako ne daga hukumar ilimin bai ɗaya ta ƙasa wato UBEC.
Himma da ƙwazo ƙoƙayen mushinku jama'a kiranmu nake bisa dagewa.
Eagles 102.3 FM, Abuja, here to stay.
I don't need no liquor. I'm intoxicated by you.
My country people, who work is supposed to enjoy you after all the hustle. You not supposed to take your comfort play to fit sleep the way it's supposed to be. Make you go grab a your Eurofoam mattress. Make you forget your full comfort. Whether na Euro Spring, Euro Orthopedic, be semi-orthopedic, Diamond and Diamond Plus. And for Comfort Pro Max, Eurofoam don't introduce latest in town. That na Euro Elite. This one, they sleep jolly meant no get equal. Eurofoam get quality pillows and sheetings. Eurofoam shop yakpa everywhere for Bodo Nigeria. Eurofoam, sleep the way.
3.3 Abuja.
If you're just tuning in for the first time, this is Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, and we are talking politics and current affairs. And as I always say, I would say that the power is in the people, and politics is what we address. And this time, the question would be, what exactly are we addressing? We're addressing the disappeared, or the contractors disappearing with 167 billion naira meant for 31 MDAs in a troubling tale of corruption and accountability. Our guest has been, and still is, Mr. Benedict Olaliko Agumoye, an information professional, policy and public affairs analyst. Well, you can also join the conversation on YouTube. Do well to subscribe via the YouTube channel and leave a comment right there. Let us know your thoughts on the discourse. You could do the same with Facebook at Eagles FM Abuja, as there is and global television that's streaming right there, and leave your comment as well as let us know where it is that you are commenting from. Right now, we're still getting into the discourse, and the number once again would be 0353-0044. The other number is 0908-766-8888, and the WhatsApp portal number where you could just get on there and give us your thoughts via the WhatsApp portal number as it relates with regards to the topic in discourse would be 0909-705-4450. All right, Mr. Sir Benedict, are you there? Well, in a time like this, especially when we are looking at these issues, I would want for us to critically look into what a family member, talking about Eldar Najer all the way from Cuba, had to say. Now, what happens? What happens? I mean, this is since 2021, 2022, 2023, and this is 2024 closing. Before we know it now, it will be a new year. There's going to be a new budget, and then we'll be talking about the fiscal year and all of that. Doesn't it seem to you as though this is much like a trade by a few persons who have been perfectionists, or who have perfected the very act of disappearing funds that have been made available for, capital projects and infrastructural development, and they've been there for quite some time. Now, what exactly am I saying? How do you investigate a scenario where the investigator, or part of the investigating team, is one who had, in one way or the other, whether by hook or by crook, whether knowingly or unknowingly, whether purposely or unpurposely, been a part of the heist that had happened many years ago, that has come to light? Do you think that there will be some fairness in such an investigation? Don't you also see that it will be naturally swept under the carpet? as quite a number of Nigerians believe that some of these contractors are hooks. They're not real. They're fake. No licenses, no registration.
Well, basically, there is the CAC to give us record of companies. There are processes and procedures of compliance. If the contractors are fake, then the director of procurement in those organizations at the time needs to go to jail, because it was their duties to ensure that only duly registered contractors who have the right documents, including tax clearance certificates and the rest, should be given jobs. So if they have allowed people or organizations under whatever guise that did not meet this criteria to participate in the bidding process and to even win the bid and get the government money, they should be punished. Until we begin to deal with the system, right? Because what most people are targeting, okay, it is the politicians, it is this, it is that. No. What was the process that was supposed to be run? So why do we have a body for public procurement in place? Why do we have a number of all the other agencies that are there? Why are we talking about due diligence? If due diligence has not been done, definitely somebody has been negligent in his or her role and should answer for his negligence. Those who stole money should answer questions for the money they have taken. But those who failed to implement the process should also answer the question for not doing their job. I think those things are very clear.
Let me put a peg to your thoughts.
This also give us to another client.
Okay.
Where was the National Assembly oversight function when these things were happening?
Let's take this call now.
Where was this project placed in the budget when you are writing a new budget?
Let's take this call. Let's just take this call. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, Elder again.
All right, Elder Naja, let's make this one very fast. Time is not on our side.
2 minutes, 2 minutes, I beg.
2 minutes is too much. Elder, 30 seconds.
Oh, 1
let's
minute,
go
1
straight
minute,
to
1
30
minute.
seconds. All right, let's get into
1
it.
minute, 20 seconds.
All right,
I went
please.
to ask Aguloye, if you are the chairman of the board, and then you are a director of finance, and then I have finished everything with my fake document, I call you. Aguloye, sign this thing for me. Are you going to say no? The system in Nigeria is corrupt. Doesn't mean that they don't know what is going on. They send them to that place to go and collect the money, what they spend in parties. That's the only very easy. The director of finance, he's there. He could do his work. But when the chairman says, sign this document for me, if you don't sign it, 10 minutes, they'll fire you. And then nobody will support you. Doesn't mean that they don't know, say all this is straight. But parties send them to that place to go and collect the money. Very simple. Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you.
Elder, thank you for that. Well, Elder, let's not also make unfounded, arguments.
It's okay to be fired for doing your job.
Okay.
Now, of course, you have allowed the crime to pass. I should also be there to answer the question, right, and be punished for failing in my duties. As director of finance or director of procurement, you have your job to do. And if you are compromised on your duty, it doesn't matter the circumstances of the compromise. You should be punished for your compromise. And that's what I'm saying. Why the system can begin to pursue the politician or the board chairman who is no longer around to refund what he has taken wrongly. There are records of how the monies were taken. But what I'm saying is that those who authorize the payments, those who are in the system, who knew that those things were wrong and they did it, must necessarily be punished.
Okay.
For their wrong action.
Yeah, and very quickly, let me chip this in. Some would say, what type of punishment is deterrent enough such that people would not want to, or to discourage people who have it in their heart to want to get into such. But just before you give me that thoughts, give me a response to that as you put a final, cap on the in the discourse. Let's go on the Facebook page wall and see this message is coming from Adams Ota from somewhere around Guarimpa right there. It says, this our country is going worse and worse every day. Just imagine. I guess he's following the conversation right there, and he decided to put his thoughts in that manner. But let's go see this one now. It says, it's from Samuel from Kuje. Now, Samuel is saying, greetings to you, and Udrak, okay, of course, to me, and the guest. It says, the reason why this disappearance of money from ministries and parastatals in this country continues every now and then is because nothing has been done to those who did it before. And so corrupt-minded individuals in and outside the corridors of power derive joy in looting our money with impunity, because for them, no one will do anything to them until there is proper punishment to the perpetrator. This evil will not stop, all right? May God deliver us from ourselves, all right? Have a great day. Thank you so much, Samuel. Let's just put a cap to, to the discourse already, Mr. Benedict Agunloye. Let's get to hear your thoughts as we wrap up.
For everybody that has been assigned responsibility.
Yes, please.
There are also consequences for not doing your job.
Okay.
When the military maybe say you are an officer and they fly your flag or your command flag at half-mast, what they are saying is that your command is incompetent. It's called the incompetency of your command. So if the director, the deputy director, or anybody has failed in doing their job, I'm sure that there is a professional body they belong to. The professional body regulating the profession should be able to punish them. If you are a medical doctor and it is medical related failure, you should be referred to the NMA or the board that is responsible for that.
Right.
If you are an accountant, there is ICANN or ANAN or whatever body that regulates you. If you are a lawyer, there is MBA, there is NJC, you should be given that. So every professional have where they belong. And if they fail or they have represented their organization, their professional calling wrongly, there should be both sanction on the job and sanction, of course, from the professional organization.
Right.
When that is done, I think that more people will sit upright and do their job. And as of course for the National Assembly, news like this are for me a wake-up call to tell them that they have been failing grossly in their oversight function. When new budgets come, you want to see the performance of an ongoing project in the old budget before you approve continuity in the new budget. I'm not too sure if that is being done, because if that is being done, then we shouldn't have to wait for 3 or 4 years for Auditor General's report to know that something has gone wrong.
All right, Sir
So
Benedict.
we need to be proactive, not reactive.
Yeah, let me put a peg to your thoughts. I know you've got so much to talk about, and I also would have loved for us to have an extension, but for the other programs that's been slated. But I want to especially appreciate you for, adding your voice in the discourse today, and we look forward to having more conversation with you in the coming days as we hope that they get it rightly this time. Right. Okay, that's the much that we can take. And, of course, to each and every one of us, family members, some of you have tried to get in touch but have not been able to connect. I mean, Honorable Edwards, I'm just seeing your message right there. But, yeah, apologies. We wouldn't be taking that one right about now as we have other programs slated for this time. But thank you all the same for the effort. And to you that listened, thank you far too kind. This is also to say that all of the opinions expressed by, the guest as well as you, the caller, has not been influenced by Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. On this note, I'm saying, have a good day and let's keep, the flag flying.